Man, it's only a minute and a half long, but it feels so much longer.
Yeah, it really does.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey,
I don't
everybody.
think
Hi.
YouTube sent my notification out because it didn't have a half an
Yeah.
hour ahead of time.
Uh-oh.
No, I got the notification.
Well, let's see if I'm getting Fish Fam link. Not yet. It'll take a
I
couple
got
minutes.
yeah, I got Fish Fam link and then I got YouTube.
Oh, really? You did get the notification?
hmm
I'm not getting anything.
All right. We got in here. Aqua Gardens in. Ian. I don't know why I wanted to say Adkins as I was saying Ian, but it's the other way.
Ying. Yankins
Yeah.
Gardens.
Right.
And Aqua Gardens in. And don't forget Stream Elements bot because it's running too.
I don't even understand what the hell that thing's problem is.
Doesn't even
Damn
do
robots.
anything.
Yeah, because I have it all disabled.
Oh.
It doesn't think so. It's
I
running.
haven't used it in months.
It's a bot. It's a bot that's lurking.
It wants to learn about salty things.
Shit.
As it should.
I don't know. Some people just shouldn't. No, I'm joking. That's fucked up. No.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe I'm one of those people.
Shit.
You want to
All
ask questions, but they don't want to learn.
I'm learning. I'm just learning that it's a lot of freaking work. Despite y'all saying it's not a lot of work. You just need an RO system. You just store all your water over here, then make sure the salt amount is perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not that bad.
Yeah, okay. I don't dose anything like precisely, honestly. I have pump heads and fingers for like dosing fertilizer. Like I will do a pinch of my macros all combined
Hey,
together.
I mean, I keep salt water personally like that.
Really?
Like my
You just need
personal
a-
tanks.
You just need to, yeah. Once you start,
I'm not spending the time to take care of a super extravagant tank at home on my own time.
you
After I just got done
learn.
working all day doing the same thing. So
You
yeah, I
learn to
keep my shit super simple at home.
Yeah, you learn to start eyeballing how much salt goes in your bin, and you just don't even think about it once you mix it a few times.
Eakins did a stream.
Feeding goes the same way, really.
I don't remember how long ago it was that he did a stream where he was doing maintenance on his saltwater tank, and the whole stream, 2 hours, was him working on that saltwater tank, and a lot of it was devoted to him getting that salt content correct in whatever container. And I don't know, does it start to matter more when you get into keeping certain corals or any corals?
Well, Ian also has a nano tank, and it's more important not to mess that up in a nano tank, whereas a bigger tank, you have more wiggle room.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. What is a nano tank for salt? Is that a 20?
A nano is technically a 40-gallon or smaller. Or 55? Is a 75 considered a nano?
Oh my god.
No, 40 or smaller.
A 75 is a large tank in my house.
Yeah. At work, we consider anything that's too small for a tang is considered a nano tank.
I can see
tang
that.
needs 55 or what? Or 40?
Tang probably needs at least a 75, depending on the species of tang.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So, if you're a beginner in salt, start big.
Bigger is better. And start. You probably you would start. I would recommend starting a fish only tank so that you don't have to worry about dosing and all that.
Yeah, that is the other problem I had. I went almost directly to live plants whenever I started my first freshwater tank, and then I got addicted to that. I imagine if I went saltwater, the corals would follow almost like immediately. Like within.
Well, you could do plants.
I
would be
as long as
you
you pay
macros.
attention to your stuff and follow your steps, you're good. You know.
Yeah.
And there are cheap corals that you could start with.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. My sacrificial corals will be the
Yeah.
cheapest thing I
Oh,
can
yeah.
get.
Yep, 10, $15. You can get little frags all day.
Does
Mhm.
the salt community, in the same way like we all kind of send plants and shit to each other, does the saltwater community do coral trades and like frag
Um,
trades on YouTube?
Clubs do. I'm not really in the salty side of YouTube. Um, I'm trying to bring the salty side to the fish fam. Just because a lot of salty YouTubers tend to be kind of stuck up.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And y'all are doing a great job of bringing that, it's like bridging that gap, because otherwise we on the freshy side view the saltwater people as elitists. Like
yeah.
they just think they got it all figured out. And I mean, there is something to envy over there. They have high tech stuff. I love gadgets. I love electronics. Anything that streamlines it, makes it easy. I like that.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, not everybody's gonna have money to blow like that,
Right.
and shame on them for expecting that of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I've had customers come in and say that, like they're like, "Oh, we have freshwater tanks, but we're just seeing what you have, and maybe thinking about saltwater." I was like, "Oh, what freshwater do you have?" And they're like, "Oh, you're actually going to talk to me about my freshwater tanks?" I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I?" They're like, "We've been to other LFSs around here, saltwater LFSs, and they just, oh, you're freshy. Okay, yeah, we got nothing for you. Bye." And I'm like, fish keeping's fish keeping. Like most of us all started freshwater. So yeah, I
Mhm.
love talking fish, whether they're fresh or salty. So
Most of us started with a goldfish or a betta or a guppy.
right.
Yep. And
Yeah.
So like,
it's funny.
oh,
A lot of the times, those same salty people started off the same way too.
mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
just had the money and the time to throw into it.
Yeah.
So going to like Aquashella, and also there was a small event called Aquafest that was in Louisiana at the beginning of the year, and it was basically all salt except for our booth that Jess bought was fresh. And we made
Yeah.
a killing, by the way, on freshwater sales, because there's a lot of people who went there thinking there would be more freshwater. But just looking at, like, since all I could do was walk around and look at the saltwater stuff, there was a lot of really cool stuff, very slick looking designs. And that appeals to me because I kind of used to be like this computer geek gaming nerd, still am, but I would build my own computers, and the whole market of like building gaming computers and souping them up like that is almost the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of competing products that are mostly aesthetic changes, and then they have, just everything looks cool. And I kind of want one just for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say you can take it as far as you want.
Yeah.
Did you
With
see any of those?
computers and with tanks.
Did you see any of those fancy sumps with the LED lights in them?
Yes.
we were geeking out
There
about
was
Elaine.
a whole
Elaine and
system
I-
for sale that included that.
Elaine and I discovered that on BRS's website, and we were geeking out over it. We're like, "Oh my god, this is so stupid, but also cool. But stupid, but also cool."
You know,
Well,
what's
like
really going to piss people off? They want to see those lights, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they're going to get stands without doors.
Yep.
And what happens when you get stands without doors and a sump running?
Evaporation, and it's
Oh.
loud as fuck. And
I was thinking
evaporation.
people easily put shit in it without you realizing too.
That too.
Freaking children. Yep.
Yeah. Our kids are good
I've heard
about
of
not-
people's systems crashing because they have like their grandkids over and they drop like a nail or a penny in their sump
Ooh.
without them knowing. And yeah.
See, now if you put that in a freshwater tank, it'll be fine.
Yep.
So
It's the salt that does it.
mhm. It's like instant rust maker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that was a very nice sump, and it's interesting. Like it kind of in the PC building community, people want to also display their awesome wire management, so they'll show the other side of their computer where all the wires are perfectly positioned, and that kind of seems to be the same way with the sump. Like here's the inner workings. Everything is all set up to look beautiful, whereas
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
freshwater sump.
I will say if you
Hide that
can
shit.
hide all the wires from a nice high tech tank,
Uh-huh.
you're a master because that shit's a pain in the ass.
It
I even have
is.
trouble with it.
High
It's
tech and
hard.
freshwater too. Freshwater planted.
Well,
There's a
that
lot
like
to
not
hide.
everything sits next to each other to be able to line everything up right. So like,
Yeah.
I've had
Everybody's
tanks where
got
it
their
looks like a
own-
fucking spider web going across
Yeah.
the whole back of the tank.
Every company has their own idea for how the cord needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
There's got to be a market in the saltwater community for that kind of organization.
So
There's
Neptune
Etsy.
System actually does sell a board to put their products in so that they are nice and organized. But
I
you can just
figured.
make your own.
For sure. A
You
joke
made a
I saw
nice one.
somewhere. Myrtle says, "A freshwater fish. Ooh, water. I can live in this saltwater fish. There's a bubble in my water. Guess I'll die now."
Right?
Oh shit. There's a bubble in my water. I guess I'll die now.
Yeah, having a control center for all the equipment is awesome. Yeah, that's really
hmm
that is appealing. The high tech control, but it almost makes me think. Well, there was definitely a need for that because of the complication involved. And I
Mhm.
kind of feel like I would need all that, and so then cost becomes a factor.
Yep.
Like, how much
Business.
money do you need to just do a fish only live rock tank? What they call it, Fowler.
Bare minimum. What size tank?
Well, let me just. Whenever I got my very first tank, I got a 40 breeder, and that was all I had room for at the time. So let's just say, what if I try to do a 40 breeder? I'm a saltwater beginner. That's all I got room for is a 40 breeder.
$130.
So 40, 50 bucks for the tank, and then there she is.
Sorry.
Well, if
Technical
we're
difficulties.
paying, if we're paying for the tank off the top
Oh.
too,
Well, I
Probably
don't
strap
have
on another
free
50
tank
bucks at
resources. Okay. Where is your
so
free
you're at
tank ferry?
170. I was
Gotcha.
assuming if it was a tank you already had.
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all. Because I mean, I'll
It's 40 bucks for a nice bag of live sand, another like 30, 40 bucks for a bunch of live rock,
Yeah, especially
and a
live
couple of
rock.
sponge filters.
You could easily find live rock on like Facebook Marketplace. There are so many people breaking down tanks. I know that's what I always tell people when they come in. They're like, I have like 60 pounds of live rock. Do you want it? Or like, how much would you buy it from me for? I'm like, I can only offer you like 70 cents a pound because we have so much of it. Like, we do not need more rock. Go to Facebook Marketplace.
And it's
You-
hard
you'll
to
be able
trust
to get
other
more.
people's stuff not to
It
have
is.
stuff in it because they didn't take care of it right, you know.
It is. Yeah. You just let it sit outside and bake in the sun for a week. You'll be fine.
so you can bake it in the sun and then put it in your tank, and you can still get stuff growing out of it.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I
Takes
don't
a little
want.
longer to get it going a little bit.
Gotcha. One expense you forgot though is that I don't have an RO system because I can get away with one without having one for freshwater. There's not a lot in my water, but there's a lot of KH. There is a 1 to 2 ppm of phosphate, which I realize is like really, really bad for saltwater, right? Like you don't want to start with a baseline of having phosphate in your tap.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
certainly help not having that. But I mean, nowadays you can get like an RO buddy that'll do 50 gallons a day for 60, 70 bucks.
Yeah. The barrier I have with that right now is just the space, honestly. I would have to do significant changes to my fish room to make space for that. It's not impossible.
I
It'd just
mean,
be a lot.
I used to have one where I just hooked it up to my faucet and it ran through my faucet into it was like a 20-gallon tote. And I just worked out of that and I put it in the closet when I didn't need it. That's what I did for a long time there before I opened up a store.
Makes sense.
Just because I didn't have room for it either. In a little ass apartment.
Now, how effective are those PhosGuard pads to get phosphates out of your tap?
So Phosguard, like Seachem Phosguard, only
Yeah, or
absorbs
they have
so
those
much.
phosphate pads too.
Yeah, the phosphate pads and the Phosguard only absorb so much. If you're planning on constantly absorbing phosphates out, I would say just go straight GFO.
Yeah.
What's
Those
GFO?
polymers and rosins and stuff, they hold on to a lot more, and some seem to hold on to stuff a little better, meaning holding on all the phosphates and not releasing it back into the water once it's full. But
What
like
is,
everything
what's GFO,
else, it
though?
can only hold so much.
Oh, she's about to
She's
show
gonna.
me. I'm gonna see the GFO.
Yeah.
It's an acronym.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad price, under $200 to start a 40-gallon saltwater, because just buy an aqua soil for a 40-gallon tank is going to cost $100
Right.
at least.
But GFO is
No.
granular ferric oxide, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
granular ferric oxide.
But it helps remove phosphate.
It's like this red powder. You have to get a fine mesh media bag because this will run right through it. I have a spoon in there. I need to get more apparently.
Cool.
But yeah, it lasts longer than carbon. But yeah, it's really good if you have a lot of phosphates.
Okay, so if I use that to get rid of phosphates, I've been messing around with hydrochloric acid, believe it or not, to get rid of my carbonate.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked.
Yep.
Like I put I have a very dilute solution of it right now, just to mess around with it. I put 3 milliliters per gallon of the it was like 6% solution, and I got my KH down from 7 to 1. So
Dang.
other than that, I've got chloramines, and then it's essentially, if you get rid of the phosphate, it's essentially RO water, I guess. But then there's the issue of possible microalgae and stuff in there that I don't know about, that's not reported on the water report.
Yep. And Mark asks, as in rust? Yes.
Yeah. Rust powder.
Yep.
Who else we got in here? Myrtle.
Dr. Anthony.
Dr. Awesome.
Doc. Vino. Mike's Aquatics and Things. Chris Aquazone. Right.
Saw an email from Dr. Anthony not too long ago about an auction.
Yep.
They might
I saw that too.
I need to...
Cool. So everybody knows, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about different species. Some might cost the same, but their care might not cost the same, one being drastically more expensive than the other. But their care requirements are the same. There's nothing, just because a fish is expensive doesn't really mean it's harder to take care of by any means. There's other factors that play into it, obviously, to make sure some of these fish so expensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also we're going to talk about other fish that might not be very expensive, but are hard to take care of, or can be more challenging to take care of. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to make your guys' brain hurt, because there's a lot of different species of fish, a lot of different types.
My brain already hurts,
animals.
so just continue abusing the brain.
Shit. Only Oscars, big shrimping.
You know what would be really cool?
What's up?
If Only Oscars would email me her shirt size and favorite color.
That would be cool on the Oscars.
You okay, Gina?
I forgot my medicine last night,
Oh,
which includes my allergy medicine, so I've been sneezing a lot today.
gotcha. Okay. You were fanning yourself like
Yeah, I'm
a
like,
celebrity had shown up in
dust
chat,
go
like,
away. Dust go away.
getting the vapors.
Snoochie Booch. Steven wants you to email him your shirt size and color.
Favorite color.
Favorite color.
Favorite color.
Yeah. Pretty please.
I was shopping for Christmas presents for my coworkers, and both of the dudes, Frank and my boss, I asked them, I was like, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" And Frank was like, "Oh." I was like, "What do you mean you don't know?" He's like, "It depends." Like, okay.
It does depend.
I was like, "Okay, what's your favorite color combination?" And he goes, "Oh, black and gold." I was like, "Okay, cool, thank you." And then I asked my boss the same thing, and he goes, what do you mean? What is it?" I was like, "Your favorite color? What is it?" Like, he goes, "It depends." I'm like, what's with you boys and saying it depends?
Well, it does depend. My favorite color shirt to wear is not the same as my favorite color mug to drink out of, or my favorite color phone case to have.
Well, is it your favorite phone case then, and your favorite mug, and not so much the color? Like, is it the?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a favorite color.
Oh,
I kind of
okay.
do, but not really. Like I don't know. I wear a lot of dark colors for clothes.
So for my boss's present, I just based it off his favorite thing, which is his Corvette. So
Nice.
he got it. It's the same color as his Corvette. But yeah, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Did anyone ask you on the Focus on the Zenger question?
No, because Zenger wasn't there.
Oh, well, okay. One great white shark size bristle nose. I mean, not bristle nose, bristle worm.
Oh,
okay.
Jeez.
Or 1,000 bristle worm size great white sharks.
I'll take the shark.
You'll take
The 1,000 sharks.
1,000 sharks.
The 1,000 little sharks.
Not a big
Because
ass bristle worm.
oh my
Okay.
god, could you imagine those bristles? Yeah, even
No,
Brendan's like, ugh.
I don't want to. Yeah. So what do you do when you get live rock and then bristle worms appear magically out of nowhere? Is there like a treatment for that?
There's like little catches, like little traps that you can get. Or it's just a sign that you're overfeeding your tank. So just cut back, like fast your tank for a few days and then cut back on feeding.
Gotcha.
Or get fish that eat them.
Ooh, fish that eat them. Some
Mhm.
brave fish. Okay.
Arrow crabs or wrasses. Yeah. We have 2 wrasses at work. We have a Catherine's wrasse and a Melanaris wrasse at work that we call them the store puppies because Elena will actually pick up the coral colonies and turn them so that the undersides are exposed, and they'll swim right up and they'll start picking at like the bristle worms and the other like little copepods that are hiding under there. We have them trained. It's really cute.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's nosy. It's big nosy and little nosy. Because of that, she's in there. So anytime you put your hands in the tank, they shoot over and they're like all up in your business because they think you're going to start flipping corals.
Do they bite?
No. Oh no. But
Man,
it's
the ghost
it's really-
knife. It doesn't usually bite, but when it wants to bite, it has kind of a bite. Like it's got some jaw muscles on that thing, Brennan.
Aw.
Gina,
What?
what's the most expensive coral you've kept?
That I have in my tank? It was the red Goniopora. And it died.
Oh.
That was how much was that frag? I think it was a $60 frag. Yeah, it was a red Goniopora. Yeah.
Dang.
From what I can decipher from looking at frag prices, that's not even that expensive for what you can get out there.
Yeah.
I've seen them hundreds at Aquashella.
Yeah.
For
I'd
me,
pay that much for plants.
for myself, probably my Duncan coral that I have right now. It's fucking enormous. It's got like 40 or 50 different heads on it, and it's bigger than my head.
Yeah.
You got
It's
it
worth
as
a couple
frag?
grand.
Oh.
Yeah, it started off with 3 heads, and it has grown into a giant tree. But it's worth a couple grand right now.
It's cool. It's a
Dang.
branching type, which usually they're more of like a dome type. They'll make like a big dome, but his is a branching. So it's like, yeah,
Got a-
it's forming like a tree.
I got a video of it. Yeah, here we go. It's an old video of it from earlier. Thing's huge.
Callaway, you assholes.
It's like me trying to film plants. Like, move, fish. I'm trying to look at the plants.
Seriously,
That's like
though.
Nosy and Little Nosy at work. Anytime you do anything next to the tank, they're just right there. And I'm like, no, go away.
Mhm.
Snooch, I don't know what you're talking about emailing me. I'm forgetful though, so remind me what that's about. I'm not sure. Oh, are you gonna sell it?
Oh, hell no. No, you must have misunderstood me, June. I said I wouldn't. I'm not. I'm going to see how far I can grow it.
That's what I figured. That's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's worth a lot, but that'd be the last thing I sell.
Yeah.
It was never meant to get. It was never meant to even keep that coral, and I ended up. It just really did well. Oh, you're all right, June.
Kenny.
It
Okay.
depends, Zen. Some stuff I would, some stuff I wouldn't. Right now, I don't.
I need to put a tile underneath my meteor shower Cyphastria so I can frag it and send you some since you lost yours.
I learned a little trick. If you take, I don't know if like a tile saw, and score the tile before you put it in there, so you could just break off little squares of it.
Yep. Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, the topic you want to talk about was the price of fish, right?
Yep. So, for instance, Ian was talking about pygmy cherub angel. And those are what, 60, 70 bucks, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right. And then you got stuff like the peppermint angel, which is about 20 to 30 grand. Big giant difference in price. Giant. But honestly, I've killed more cherub angels than I have pygmy angels, and I've kept the same amount of them. I mean, I've never kept any for myself, but I've cared for them. And it's a lot of people seem to think the more expensive the fish in saltwater, the harder it is to get. Most of the time, it's just that fish is just harder to find and harder to get. Or there's none left in the wild, and they're only wild caught. Stupid stuff like that. Sort of similar to a lot of your species of freshwater fish, but for some reason, people don't look at freshwater fish and saltwater fish this side by side like that.
Yeah.
And that goes for thousands of different species of fish, thousands. And there's other stuff. God, what are they? Certain species of wrasses can really be troublesome to keep, and they're only 10, 15, 20 bucks a piece. And you got other stuff that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I mean, besides that, the initial payout, they're super rock solid fish. So It's really more so doing your research on each individual fish and trying to figure out their behaviors and what goes good for what you want and what you need. Yeah, cleaner wrasses are a pain in the ass, for example, as Alishon says.
So if they're cheap, why are they such a pain in the ass? Is it kind of the same as freshwater, where like they're so popular, there's bred in mass, and the genetics are not really paid attention to?
Yep.
Yep.
So
And it
it's
happens a lot with like even clownfish nowadays.
Mhm.
Is that because of Nemo?
Yeah. Yeah. Finding Nemo
Probably
did
has a
not
good
have
bit to
the
do with-
impact on the industry that Disney was hoping for. It had the opposite impact.
That and Dory. What is Dory? A blue tang?
Blue hippo tang.
Blue
Yep.
hippo tang.
So that's what I was going to bring up too. So that's the same with tangs also. They're all pretty much the same care, no matter what the cost is. Like right now, we have an extra large Atlantic blue tang it's literally about 6-7 inches. It's only $125. Versus another tang that big would be like $600 to $1,000. Like it's just that Atlantic blues are so easy to get. Like they're just out of Florida. So you're not having to ship overseas like how you would for other types of tangs.
That still seems like a lot for a fish. Anything, I haven't spent over $60 for a fish, honestly. But
well, if you think of like a cichlid, like a 6 to 7 inch cichlid, is probably going to be about that much.
I haven't gotten into the stuff that does take that time to grow out, like a big ass cichlid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Geek, nothing good comes out of Florida.
But yeah, paying $600 for a fish. Like, I'm pretty good at keeping fish, but I still would just freak the fuck out if I had to deal with that value of a fish, like out of my own pocket, let alone if I had to, like Brennan would have to take care of it for a customer, you know? Like, I guess you don't have anxiety about that shit anymore, do you? Like whenever you have to buy a super expensive fish.
You still do. It still hurts.
Oh, you're muted, Brennan.
I said, "Oh yeah, I won't do shit without insurance." I ain't.
But yeah, insurance helps.
Some of the fish and corals and stuff I work with, I mean, they're worth a couple $1,000s. If I'm not careful, that'll put somebody out of business.
Yeah.
So. Hey.
Yeah. No, it's still nerve-wracking spending that much.
Yep,
I still see it with my customers, how they're hesitant. They're like, man, that's a lot. How long's that fish been here? Is it eating? Can I see it eat? And I'm like, yeah, I go through this whole orchestrated ordeal to make sure that they are confident buying these fish first.
I love the fact that Geek's biggest fish purchase was on shit fairies.
Yep.
The most money you spend on fish are shit fairies that you never see. Love it. Yeah, so like you can buy a bunch of rummy nose tetra for $4 a piece, and you'll lose half of them if you're not paying attention to where you're buying them from.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's sad. The same thing with clownfish; they become disposable at that point because everybody's trying to breed them, and not everybody's good at it.
Yep.
And a lot of this stuff goes even more so for corals.
Yes.
Like corals that don't last long? Or
well, no, just like the same thing. You got. Help me out here, Gina. I'm having a brain fart.
So you have like you do have like your name brand corals. So there are breeders out there with like that add value just because their name is on it, like Jason Fox, Tidal Gardens, versus buying the exact same coral from somebody else, and it's going to be like more than half the price. Yeah. because I was even explaining this to another customer. They're like, "Oh, how much more expensive is it to get a wild caught versus an aquacultured coral?" I was like, "Oh, it's less expensive to get a wild caught, like one from the ocean, because it's like a standard coral. It's the aquacultured ones that are more expensive because more money went into them, and then they're also looking for unique colors, like all these brightly colored zoas. Most of those are not out in the wild. Those are all aquacultured for those bright colors. Like,
Yep. And some of them even genetically modified, from what I understand.
yep.
Oh. So then what are the factors that make an expensive fish expensive?
Size, availability,
Collection point.
collection point, so how much red tape you have to go through to get it, depth that it's at, so if you have to have a specialized scuba team to go down and get it, and also grading.
And what level it is on the endangered list.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, the scuba gear and equipment stuff is probably a bigger factor with saltwater because
Yeah.
shipping costs too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting it from whatever remote place you got it from and where you can only catch like one at a time.
Yep. And there's certain species of corals out there that are considered deep sea corals, where they're going a couple 100 feet down underneath the ocean to get these guys off of trench cliffs and
Dang,
stuff
they don't get
like
any
that
light?
underwater. No, they got to bring their own light for the most part down there.
No, I mean like corals that grow without light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's more carnivorous corals
Yeah.
that put out sweepers and catch food rather than photosynthetic.
And
Interesting.
the equipment that they need to get just down there is thousands and thousands of dollars just to get one or two specimens.
Yeah.
God,
So
just for some wacko billionaire.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hey, you know what? If that's your hobby and you got the money, send your crew out to sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every little bit of it adds up.
Yellow tangs now cost what gem tangs cost a few years ago. Yep. And but hopefully Hawaii is gonna start opening up. They have like a list of, I forget how many fish, and yellow tangs are on that list to hopefully start exporting soon. So hopefully the cost
It's going
goes
to be
down.
very monitored and very limited, though.
Yes.
A frogfish at Petco.
Huh.
That's interesting.
So I've been addicted to TikTok lately, and I've come across this lady who has a frogfish that I don't know if she does it like for shock value or if it's like a necessity, but she feeds clownfish to the frogfish.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's because she breeds clownfish. So those are like her culls.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because if she's breeding them prolifically, it's much better than just like culling it and tossing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed it, and I'm just like, should I be enjoying this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy live feedings as long as they're done out of necessity, like, or just like nature, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, and that kind of goes over to the second half of what Brennan wanted to talk about. If you're done with this topic, was fish that are more sensitive or need specialized feeding.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that needs to be fed special live foods like copepods, phytoplankton, and stuff like that, usually going to be more challenging to keep because it's harder to keep the food levels in the tank high enough for them to be sustainable. Copepods, you're able to culture your tank with them to be able to reproduce, but it takes time for that. Most people don't have the amount of time you would need to start a culture like that, or are willing to wait. So it can really be difficult sometimes.
But other saltwater fish, I mean, they benefit from live food, right? Does it make them breed more prolifically if you're trying to breed them, for example? Because I started a grindleworm culture for one fish, and it was just like a little 2-inch fish, Batis. And now I have a crap ton of grindle worms. I just feed them to every tank if I can. And you
Yeah.
know, every fish benefits from live food. But it kind of like
Oh yeah.
gave me that motivation to start a live culture.
Yep, definitely. And you can visibly see the difference in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
especially with like moray eels and stuff like that. You have one that feeds live and one that feeds, frozen, perhaps, and you can really notice a lot of times the difference in the behavior and in the coloration of them.
What kind of live food would you have for a moray?
You could do like chromis, like bread chromis. You can do clownfish. You have an abundance of them, or culls. Um, mollies. You can use mollies too. Those work well. They
Yeah, that's what
salt
I was
water, and they're a
thinking.
lot
More like
cheaper.
breeding some kind of live bear for it.
Yep, a lot of people use mollies a lot. A lot of them will breed them just to feed. Um, and then you can also do stuff like live shrimps and stuff like that.
Can you have a live shrimp culture or breeding colony going on, or is that too much work?
For saltwater, it's a little bit difficult to keep enough of them going. They're just a lot more sensitive than Caridina
Gotcha.
or Neocaridina.
Yeah, I kind of figure like I would love to have a live bait colony going, a bunch of Gulf shrimp or something.
Oh yeah, I'm down in Florida going to a bait shop, and these guys were breeding fucking axolotls as bait.
Oh my god! Don't ever say
And
that
you'd
to
walk
fish
in,
fam.
dude. It was terrible. It made my heart hurt.
I can't believe it. They must be really
And
good at
like,
breeding axolotls then.
oh, well, you walk
Just
in and they have these big tank like vats. You got minnows and
oh,
and shiners, all sorts of stuff like that, and then you just see what looks like salamanders from a distance, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you get
why?
close, and you're like, what the fuck, man? For real?
Why? It's weird. It's like someone breeding any kind of ornamental fish for feeders when I don't know. I didn't think axolotls were that prolific and that easy for versus another feeder culture.
Mm. Well, I mean, they breed by the hundreds usually.
I know, but like Jess
Yeah,
was talking
and
about earlier today, how she had to cordon off, she had to make like 14 different chambers for them to keep them from killing each other.
oh yeah, they'll breed each other to death.
Hmm. But like raising the babies, like to keep, like I guess they don't do well as they reach a certain age. They don't do well being with each other, kind of like bettas, where if
Oh
you
yeah, they'll
once they
start eating
reach,
each other's limbs and nipping and stuff
and I
like
can't
that.
imagine breeding bettas as a feeder, but they do lay a shit ton of eggs.
Yeah, a lot of people breed cichlids as feeders.
Now that I can see because I've heard I've never kept a cichlid like that, but I heard like even something like the what you call them, the crebensis that everybody has a population problem with. Like I could
Well,
see resort
look at that
feeders.
black belt, for instance, how big she is. She lays eggs by the hundreds,
Oh yeah,
hundreds
she
and
just
hundreds
laid
and
eggs
hundreds.
again.
And
Sounds
if
like
those
you
were
need to put them
fertilized, how
down
the
there.
hell are you going to get rid of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black belt cichlids?
Yeah.
Not if you need a 120 gallon tank for one. I mean,
Mm-hmm. You got to do something with them.
yeah, she lays them like once a month.
some morays will take shrimp. I used to collect shrimp off local docks to feed predator fish.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Convicts would be a good feeder fish. June, I'll send you some guppies. I mean, and actually, I'll send you some endlers. They have an even shorter gestation period, like 3 weeks. The yellow tiger endlers.
Yeah. Convicts would be a good one. Those stupid polar blue tiger parrot convicts that I have are ridiculous. They'll breed at the size like size of $50.
Dang.
Yeah.
How many eggs they lay at that size?
30 or 40. And they're really good parents.
Of course. Yeah, guppies not so much. Guppies will eat them, so you just have to have. If you want a guppy colony for feeders, you still have to have a very heavily planted tank. But all you need is just like a bunch of guppy grass that fills the tank, and you're good. Yeah. So convicts faster than crebensis. I've heard things about crebensis, such as people having a bag of them with like $1 taped to each bag. Like, please take them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
funny. Oh, and dog wants in.
You're right. But yeah. Just wanted to get that little bit out
Yep.
about prices of fish and stuff like that. Kind of trying to hopefully get chat asking questions and stuff about it.
Hey, chat. What kind of questions you got?
Right.
It seems similar to saltwater. Like the price just kind of depends on how rare it is and not exactly how hard it is to keep.
Mm-hmm.
But I have corridors on the mind because I've been going down the rabbit hole of trying to get these freaking Adolphois to breed in my water, and they just don't like my water. I've done everything I can other than lower the pH significantly.
I was
But
about to say, have you tried rainwater?
well, it hasn't rained here in like 3 months, unfortunately. But
Whoa.
yeah, we're in a bad drought. My tub outside is like a third full, but it just rained recently. I just didn't have anything out there to collect it. So that's why I tried the hydrochloric just to get rid of that the KH in it and lower the pH. So
Right.
that's my next step. But then there's corridoras that take 6 years to reach maturity to even think about breeding them. So
Holy shit.
that's why some corys even look on Dan's Fish, they're like $150 a piece because a lot went into making that cory. And then,
Right.
they take 6 years to get breeding age, and then you have to have the perfect environment because you can find them in one section of some river in South America where everything is like exactly the way they need it to be, like 6 feet of fucking leaf litter that not many people want to replicate in their tanks.
Mm.
Dr. Awesome knows if he's still awake. He's still here.
It might be. He didn't say he was leaving anyways.
He might have fallen asleep, though. Although he's on the West Coast, so it'd be kind of early. It's a good place to order saltwater fish.
So the thing with ordering them online, especially if you're getting a fish that is a little bit more sensitive, is that they don't like. There's no guarantee that it's eating. It could have been just wild caught, rebagged, and sent to you straight from the ocean.
Yeah.
So usually it's best to go to an LFS. That way you can ask them how long they've had it for, ask if it's eating, have them demonstrate that it's eating, see that it's healthy, pick out the fish that you want, make sure it doesn't have parasites and all that. Because we still get, when we get our fish shipments, we'll still find fish that have like parasites and stuff on them.
With wild caught, that's like almost a guarantee, basically, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't have an answer for what's a good place to order saltwater fish from because there's not usually good guarantees.
Right.
You have any places
I was about to suggest like local fish stores and places like that. Try to stay away from big giant retail wholesalers and shit like that.
Yep.
A lot of times a little more care is put into them because they have their own stock they're keeping and they're caring for it to get ready to sell it to you.
Yep.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I would definitely buy a place that had a guarantee beyond getting it home and in your tank, like something a few more days at least.
Yeah.
Because these places that have lab arrival guarantees, I've been to places. Hell, it might even be Petco where they basically say like the saltwater guarantee is nil. Like
Yeah, there is
none.
no saltwater
Take it
guarantee.
home and it's in your hands.
You take it out of the store and it's in your hands. Yeah.
Yep.
That kind of scares me, buying even a $60 fish where it's like I don't know what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
what would be the beginner fish? Like if I was just getting started, something cheap and hardy.
It
Some
depends
green
on the
chromis, some angels.
yeah.
Or not angels. Clownfish.
It depends on the size of the tank, honestly. But yeah, community fish. So
So let's just
Bang-
still say 40 breeder, 40 gallon, which is small for saltwater.
Yeah. Yeah, clownfish would be a good starter for a 40 breeder. Maybe some blennies.
Cool.
Smaller gobies. Some that aren't too aggressive. Like I wouldn't start with a lawnmower blenny because they can be jerks.
Right.
Gobies are cute.
Yeah.
I know what a lawnmower blenny is. We had that for What the Fish.
We did. And it's funny because I
Sam
didn't guess
Scales
it because there was too many colors on it. Like they don't have that many colors in real life.
Sam
That's why I
Scales,
didn't guess it.
Look, he saw what he saw, and in fact, I wasn't there when he drew it, but Jenna said that he did not want a reference photo. He drew that from his head.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I was like an orange spot blenny. It's not a starry blenny. There's too many colors because they're all part of the same family. They all have the same body type. So I was like, what is that? And then someone guessed lawnmower. I was like, no. And then you said, oh, there it is. I'm like, what? We have like 6 of those at work right now. What?
Right.
Well, tomorrow's gonna be a lot
Watchmen.
of salt water too.
Yay!
Watchman gobies. You're right.
Yes. Yep. Watchman prawn gobies with a pistol shrimp. Yep.
Pistol shrimp, is that the one that like makes a loud ass noise in the water?
Yeah, they go pop, pop. Yep.
And yeah, that's not the one that could like pierce the glass, right?
Well, they
Boil
if
the
you
water.
if you
Where
get
they-
one that gets big enough and it is big enough, I mean, if it hit the right spot, it could.
Damn.
Like if it hit right at the seam, I'm sure it could mess up the seam and cause a leak in the tank.
Wow.
But not usually. It's mantis shrimp that are the tank breakers.
Yep, I've seen videos of mantis shrimp piercing very thick boots as well. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah, the stabby boys. Yeah. Because there's two
Yeah.
types. There's punchy boys and there's stabby boys.
punchy and
The
stabby.
stabby ones are way more dangerous.
Yes.
Yep. It's my other barriers. I don't want anything punchy or stabby or stingy or bitey.
Oh, then
Yeah.
you don't want clownfish.
Oh, they bite, don't they?
They are
Don't hurt.
mean. It doesn't hurt, but and it's not really that they
No,
bite,
if
but
they
they sit there
bite-
and they body slam you.
Yeah. Okay. If they don't hurt,
It's
that's
cute.
fine.
It is kind of cute.
Like, because I've had gouramis and stuff that will bite me, thinking that they're doing damage. I have a killifish that wants to kill me, but it just can't do anything because it's little mouth.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't care about a fish that hates me but can't hurt. You know.
Oh, okay. Clownfish are fine. Ocellaris clownfish
Okay.
are fine then because they don't get too big.
Yeah, pajama cardinal fish.
Yeah, cardinal fish would be good. No, still they get a little bit big for a 40 though. You could probably get like 1 or 2. Because like an angel, it might say like 3 to 4 inches, but they also get tall. So
What about I like nanofish just because I like aquascaping. So if you were gonna get
gobies and
say, like,
blennies,
20 or 40 or something of a fish in a 40-gallon, what would you get?
gobies and blennies.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Gobies. I don't know much about blennies.
You could get a pretty cool little like community going on with.
Oh yeah.
That's what I
bunch of
like.
stuff
I
like
like
that.
community tanks. I like activity and I like visuals. That's
And those
what
guys
It's
are always
actually-
scooting around and
I want things
poking
to
and
be going
prodding.
on.
And
Yeah, that's actually what I want to do with my 40. This Christmas, I might take the hippo tang and the clam and the other things I have holding for my father-in-law to over to his house, so then I can start catching the other assholes and get them out, and then start a giant 40 breeder nano tank and just fill it with, like you said, like 40 to 50 little nano fish.
That's what I
Keep
like.
the clam.
He's stupid. Oh my god, I didn't really look at him for a while, and I looked at him the other day. He's so close to the freaking rockwork, he now has a dent in his shell where he's growing around the rock. And I'm like, stupid clam.
The clam must stay. It's your mascot now. Just change your channel.
You hear that, guys? Gina's got a bent clam.
It's got a dent in it.
A dented clam. Yeah, you know what? At our age, a banged up clam, kind of just how it is, you know.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I have a tail spot blenny. He's awesome. Oh, yeah, and your tail spot blenny is fat, and we have some at work that are fat also. I was actually going to make a short that was like, Adkins, I see your fat tail spot, and I raise you a bigger, fatter tail spot.
I'm so sad you couldn't do the airplane with the shark.
I know. We sold the shark. Paul went
Do the
home.
what with the shark?
So we had an epaulet shark named Paul, and he was just so nonchalant that like you could just like pick him up and move him, and he just like wouldn't even move. He wouldn't even acknowledge your existence. And I was saying that I wanted to like mirror like an airplane with him, make a short of it, and it never happened.
You should call the customer and be like, "Hey, are you on YouTube?
Right?
Can you take your shark and just kind of do that with it for a little bit?
Dude, pretend he's a toy airplane.
Just send me the video."
No, he's in a big, like, I think 300 or 400 gallon tank now up in Chicago.
How big's it get?
3 to 4 feet.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
They like being crammed into rock crevices.
They
and
do.
Stuff. That's
Yeah.
where they spend 90% of their life.
Yeah. I don't need anything that just wants to hide. I already have hidey things that grace me with their presence, like once in a blue moon.
I enjoy
all
those
day
guys.
long. What?
I enjoy fish like that.
Yeah,
Makes me
well, I mean,
appreciate 'em
it's
more.
like, yeah, because you're excited to see him when you finally see him. You're like, yeah, I paid $200 for you, and here you are.
yeah. He would mostly come out at night, so I would see him in the morning when I'm uncovering the tank for probably like 10 minutes, and then once he's like, oh nope, lights on, and he'd go back in his
Yeah.
rock.
For as freaking blind as ghost knives are, they sure are light sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes right back to his hiding spot as soon as the light turns on.
Oh, did your package
Oh,
arrive
should.
yet? Or no, I just sent it out yesterday morning. I keep forgetting
Uh,
today's Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I have informed delivery, so it just tells me when shit's coming to my house.
Nice.
And I think it's coming tomorrow. Or yeah.
Nice. There's extra algae wafers in there for Fish Fam because I ended up with a lot more than I thought. So
Oh,
for Fish
sweet.
Fam Christmas, yeah.
All right, so we have like a pile of algae wafers
Yep.
and the aquascaping tools.
Yep. And an API freshwater master test kit.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be a really good package deal.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then your light.
And that's mine.
And I put-
Fish Fam Christmas.
I put that in an Apex skylight bag, a bright orange bag. You can't miss it.
Nice. Yep, that light is going right there.
Nice.
I have the other light right there, but I'm like, I keep expanding this plant farm to like ridiculous things that I want to try. This video behind me is really old. It looks very different from what it looks like right now.
That's exciting. Clauschwitz blennies are cool too.
Yeah.
We have 3 of them, and they're in tanks right next to each other, so they're always colored up because they're always trying to fight each other.
I really enjoy a lot of the smaller wrasses too, like carpenter wrasses and stuff
Mhm.
like that. They're always active. They're always zooming around. They're always into something. A lot of them get super personable.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, the Catherine's wrasse and the Melanaris wrasse, which are not fairy wrasses, but yeah, they can get some personality to them. We once had a cleaner wrasse that you put your hand in the tank and he would actually come up and start cleaning your hand.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my Pandagara.
Yep.
They are not afraid either. Like I can, like when I get uncomfortable, I'm trying to do something. I'm like, get off, and they just like, yeah, right back.
Yeah.
They don't care. Same with the ghost knife. He doesn't care. He's
Some of
all-
Those
Ian's
look-
corals.
Those look like Bam Bams.
That doesn't
I
even
don't-
look real.
I don't know what those are. Are those blow pops?
What the fuck are these names? Bam Bams and Blow Pops.
The back one's an eagle eye, I think. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I'm glad they're doing good for you.
Oh, Big Shrimpin'. He's hating on your fish, Brennan.
Ooh, bird wrasse.
He says, I can't stand those bird wrasse or whatever they're called.
I like them. They're funny.
They are funny. They're fast. They're always moving.
They're really good about playing peekaboo with you too. They're
They
fucking
are.
hilarious.
They are.
I got two things coming from Shippo. One of them's coming tomorrow. The other one's coming Thursday. So which one's yours?
The one coming tomorrow. Should be. It was 2-day shipping, so.
Well, the one coming from Missouri is coming Thursday.
Aw,
'Cause the
Missouri.
USPS don't give a crap.
stupid USPS.
Yeah, it might still come early. You never know,
Yeah.
or rather, on time. What's up, Craig?
Okay.
I like Shippo.
Sure.
It's very convenient.
Me too.
Mhm.
And then you save all the addresses of people you've shipped to. It's
Right?
just a database, permanent.
What I don't like is that when you start a ticket, even if you don't purchase it, it saves it. And I'm just like, no, go away. I don't need you.
You can make it go away though.
Mhm.
On
Yeah, I've
mobile,
done
at
that.
least you can't. But yeah.
I use my laptop for it.
So everybody knows here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to be shutting her down here. Put it at 1 a.m. for me.
It'll be midnight for me. I gotta wake up at 6:45, according
Dang.
to Jenna. She's going on the field trip with Lillian to the Renaissance Festival, and so I
Oh,
gotta get
yeah.
Zachary on the bus.
Right on.
Renfest is
Yeah,
fun.
yep.
I love
I'll be up and going
Renfest.
by 8 o'clock at the latest tomorrow.
You
I
what?
have to.
I got to be up and going by 8 o'clock tomorrow at the latest.
Oh, well, the latest would be the time I got up.
Some of these names are like WTF. I saw called Gorilla Nips. Yep. Gorilla Nips.
Yeah, what was some
Um,
other crazy shit that y'all said before? Like I've already forgot, but it just reminded
Bam
me of
Bams. And then
weed
there's.
strains. No, but like early, like in a while back.
Oh. I don't know. I'm blanking. But yeah, some of these names are kind of. They're meant to be a hook. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's one's called brown sewage stylophora,
Oh, that
Oh.
sounds appealing.
freshwater favia, barely legal rhizo,
Legal.
cancerous chalice.
I definitely want the cancerous one.
They got like I think there's one called Greg's herpes.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't touch that one. Whisker do's, whisker don'ts. Is that one? Gorilla nips. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the orange ones are Bam Bams because I have some of those, and we have a bunch at work too. I mean, there's red, purple, and green people eaters.
Pink boobies. Purple
Yeah,
people
pink.
eaters.
The
Yeah.
gorilla nipples look like pink boobies. Yep.
Now I'm Googling stupid coral names.
There you go. It's always a fun time.
Just looking in the
There's some funny stuff.
green slimer.
I have one of those. Actually, I have two. Saving one for Ian.
Gold
It-
spaghetti.
Gold spaghetti. Yeah, it's called a green slimer because whenever you mess with it, like especially if you frag it, it literally just starts putting off slime.
Oh,
Like
really?
a lot.
Yep.
Good night, Snoochie Booch.
No,
Good
Richard.
night, man.
Oh, there's one named Reverse Gorilla Nips. Not just Gorilla Nips, but Reverse
So-
Gorilla Nips.
Pink on the outside and blue on the inside?
Nah, I don't know. I'm just reading text, so
Well, that's no fun if they don't have pictures.
Hornets. Blue Hornet.
There's a light
Yep.
bulb. A light bulb coral.
Light bulb. Yeah, I think the most ridiculous so far is that herpes that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's like the Bucephalandra strain or whatever the varieties that are named after people.
Yeah, there's some pretty weird ones.
Scotty
lettuce
Aquati.
coral.
Scotty Aquati.
A lettuce coral. I know about cabbage
Yeah.
corals. Look up snake polyps. I have snake polyps. They're very temperamental.
So, what happens when I decide I have this Fowler tank and then I want to put coral in it?
You just know to start watching your alkalinity and calcium, making sure it's stable and at the levels you need it to be, and your phosphates.
So if I can get rid of my phosphates, does alkalinity actually matter in terms of like if I start with a base alkalinity? I guess
For coral growth and whatnot, yes.
so. What does your alkalinity want to be? Like, what do you want it to be? And
Between 9 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
it's already 7. What about calcium and magnesium though?
Calcium, you want to be, if you have softies, like 350 to 400 is fine. If you have stonies, then you want it to be closer to 400. Magnesium, you want to be 3 times calcium.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about magnesium being that abundant. So,
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
And you don't dose magnesium usually nearly as much as calcium and alkalinity. I think I've only dosed calcium at the store once. And that was because my boss was like, hey, have you been checking magnesium? I was like, nope, but I'll start. And I checked it, got them to where they needed to be, and I haven't dosed it again since.
So they don't use it as much. They just need it to be around, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. So then when you are dosing that kind of stuff for corals, it's separate macros that you're putting in there. So you have calcium, you have a calcium powder, I guess, that you put in there, and then you have a magnesium powder, and then you have what do you put in there for KH? Like
we use soda
potassium
ash.
carbonate? Soda ash.
Yeah.
Soda ash. That makes sense.
Yep, soda ash is what I use as well.
And bulkreefsupply.com has calculators for everything. So you put in how much your total water volume is, what your current levels are at, and then what your goal, what you want it to be. So usually you don't want to go more than a certain amount per day. So you would put what you want it to be that next day. So like 1 point up, and then it'll actually tell you what your dose will be.
Well, that sounds reasonable compared to like fertilizing plants, because there's a lot more that go into fertilizing plants, and a lot of stuff when you fertilize plants you can't really test for, like a lot of the micros.
Yep. Coral, as long as you get it there and you get it stable and you get it stay there, you're ready to jam out with your clam out.
Nice. Yeah, what's the parameters for keeping a clam? I have
Same.
my very own clam.
Yep, same. Just make sure. So a clam, you would want your calcium to be closer to like 400.
Gotcha. Man, God, like with my guppies, it's probably nearing there at this point.
Right. Query Life. How's it going, Stephanie?
What's up, Stephanie? She's here a minute before we're about to end.
Right. Sorry.
That's like Wet Your Plants. People drop in the last 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll have 30 people, and then the last 15 minutes, like, oh, hey, we're off work or wherever they were.
Yeah.
It always makes me feel bad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what the replay is for, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, it is that time. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'd like to get some sleep tonight. I'm sure Steven would too.
Yeah, me too.
I hope you all have a good night. Mods, replay watchers, lurkers, chatters. Y'all are great. I love you all. I'll see you guys maybe Thursday. I don't know. It just depends on if I have the time between my business and my second job to be able to do anything. If not, I'll for sure see you guys Sunday. Maybe I'll do a pop-up between then and now as well. So keep an eye out. Besides that, I don't have anything else to say. Do you guys?
No.
See y'all later. See y'all tomorrow on Steamy McStreamy.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Peace.